it's Taz with you on the box making bench. I just thought I would take you through the process involved in putting the hinges on. It's kind of a complicated process, but we'll, cut and shut it and paste it and stuff, and you'll get to see what goes on. So anyway, first thing, if you're going to be working with wood or woodworking tools, shush cat, or that's Monty, the three-legged silver storm cat. First thing you gotta do, take off your bling. Reason being is that if, for example, anything like that gets caught up in something like this, if you're lucky, it'll break before it takes your finger off. Just saying. It's not a safe thing to do, so take all those things off. If you got a long tie on, something like that, for God's sake, take it off. I have actually seen somebody's school tie actually get caught up in a drill press, and it wasn't pretty. But, it happened really quickly. The guy went, ah! And, just hit the stop button and it was all done. But that's not really something you want to take a risk with, especially if it can, choke you, which would be bad. So anyway, here we are. Now, I'll get the widow to bring the camera a little bit closer. Okay, so when we fit these hinges, and they look like this, and they get customized and bent so that they fit on the box like that. So each one of these little guys is got to be deburred. That means it's got to be sanded lightly with high-end sandpaper, because these are made by machines and they have little burrs on them. And when you go to use them, they'll either break off and look like crap, or they'll fold up and interfere with what's going on. So each one of these, and there's a bunch of them, have all got to be hand polished and then wiped down so you don't get polishing compound on the wood, because if that happens, you'll never get it off. Huge big pain in the butt. You've also got to trim the screws to make sure that they'll actually fit with the timber, its thickness. So if you have it too far down, what'll happen is when you screw it in, it'll actually it's pushing wood as it goes. So if you do that, what'll happen is you'll end up pushing wood out of it. It's an ugly thing. So first things first, let's get a little bit of a shorter one like that one. So that just sits in there, and obviously you've got to pre-drill all these holes, because if you don't, this is a huge pain in the butt. So what you tend to do is use an undersized drill bit like this, and mark it off with a piece of tape, and you drill up to that point and no farther. Actually, you come in a little bit, towards the end, so you just got yourself a little bit of buffer. Once you do that, you get your proper screwdriver for this purpose, and then you just start very carefully putting them in. See, they do tend to slip a bit when you use them, so you've got to be careful. See, because you don't want to do that and then end up putting the hard steel end of this screwdriver into this brass and scratch the shit out of it, because then you got to take it off, rebuffer it. It's great big pain in the butt. Alright, now if you can just pause that camera for me. Alright, and we're back. So we're just on the last screw for this. And what we're going to do here is, this is a Japanese clamp. They're actually pretty cool little things, all made of brass. Yes, I may have an affinity for steampunk. I apologize. Anyway, so just clamp that off there, like that. Okay, and then we wind this in a little bit, if I haven't bottomed it out already, which I have not by the looks of it. Well done, Taz. Now you're cooking with fire. Okay, so that just leaves this one hole here. Now, because, again, we're worried about the thickness of the timber, we're not going to just drill a hole straight through it, because obviously that would be really, really awful. So we're just going to take another one of these hand polished screws like this, and nip off about 1/3 of the length of the screw like that. We got our handy dandy drill. And we're going to very carefully try and do this without, I'm just going to, okay. And clamp is still in place, and because it's brass on brass, it's probably not going to mark it. If you want, you can put something under there like a piece of tape or something like that. And that's just going to hold that down for me while I do this. Come on, don't be a pain in the... Well, you know what. Alright, so if we do this carefully, I won't screw it up. And that's just going to screw right down in there like that. And just be aware that the screwdriver can slip out of that slot any time and destroy your work, so all I can say is be careful. There we go. Okay. Now, let's have a look at that. No, needs a little bit more, that's okay. Just tweak that down like that. And one more. There we go. Okay, now I take this clamp off. And it hasn't marked the other brass. And I'll just align this screw. Okay. And there we go. That one side is done now. You'll see that all the screws are clocked. That term means that they're all facing the same direction. So that means they're all up and down. Now very carefully adjust that. Good boy. And there we go. Half of it's done. So you just got to remember that when you set these hinges, or when you set any hinges, especially on something like a box or a door, you got to make sure that the barrel, right, is exactly halfway through the top and the bottom. Okay? And then you very carefully clamp this down. You make sure that this distance is the same distance. Right? I usually use a square like so. And you set that in there and you butt that up against there. Then you clamp it down carefully and you center punch all the holes like this. And because the wood is soft enough, you can just press it in just a little bit at a time. Don't wail on it with a hammer because you'll destroy it. So anyway, that's half of that. And that's the new lid. This is called Flame Heart Hue and Pine. And the reason it's called Flame Heart Hue and Pine is, and I'll show you in a moment, is when Hue and Pine ages, very carefully open that because I don't want to destroy it. You see how the inside is that lovely chocolate brown and hewn sticking out. And the old timers call it Flame Heart because depending on how you sand it, you can actually bring out, you can create a pattern in the timber, dark and light. So that's one side, and that is the other side. Anyway, thanks for joining me here on the box making bench. And I will talk to you guys later. As always, rate, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you very much to the widow for being my cameraman person. And have a good day, night, or evening. And I'll check you later. See ya. Bye.